Sure. Hi. Like a very difficult first half, but is that second half performance and spirit the essentially we need to see for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think the first half, obviously, our priority going into the game was to be hard to beat, given the nature of the game on Sunday. So I think probably expected in some way, shape or form that we might not have the footprint in the game we want in the first half, and I think the priority for us was getting at half time and make sure we're in the game as a basic principle, and then grow into it. Obviously the nature of the first goal is a little bit misfortunate really, but as you say, I thought in the second half the guys stood up to it and didn't wilt and grew into the game, and maybe on another day we go and nick the second.
Can you give us a flavour of what half time looked like, and just was it yourself delivering the messages, or was it the player there?
No, it's myself. I think obviously as normal, I spoke the other day about running my own process for a game. So, I'd always give the players a space at the start to understand the feeling and where they're at, and, how we feel the game's plan going. And then obviously discuss what's going to be important in the next 45 minutes. So from my point of view, business as normal. I listen to players, but ultimately, I direct it where I think it needs to go.
You feel a little bit unlucky with that last minute decision, Quansah or Fernandez, potentially a red card, if we
Yeah, I think. Listen, I've only seen it one angle at the moment. I think you can get it, you cannot get it. That one, I probably need to see a couple more angles before I'm a little bit more conclusive about my opinion. But I felt my natural instinct was it was a foul, and maybe that we didn't get the rub of the green with that at the end of the day, and we didn't get it, so we move forwards.
Yesterday you said to us that you would collaborate, I suppose, with the players a little bit to work out what sort of team and what shape they wanted today, what they wanted. What did they tell you they wanted from the game?
No, I don't think it was about the players in a black and white fashion telling me what they want from the game. Obviously they were hurting from the other day, and without doubt they need some form of leadership and direction, and obviously that's my job. But I think it was important for me to understand where the group was at physically and mentally, probably more than where we were at tactically. And we devised a game plan from there, to be very hard to beat, and that requires bodies and then be good on the counter. But there wasn't much time to turn this game around, and you can only work on so much. You can't overload them with information when there's going to be adaptation and change anyway. So, and I'm really encouraged by the second half. I think that's what we have to focus on now. That they showed belief in themselves, they showed character, they stood up, the fans were behind them, and I think hopefully that second half is enough for a catalyst for the guys.
How were they emotionally and mentally yesterday when you first spoke to them, given the change going on?
Yeah, I think ultimately they were obviously reflecting upon the change, I'm sure, as people that's took place, but ultimately professionals. Prepare for the next game. That's what we all have to do. That's all they know. It's the only way forwards. So they were fine. I'm sure that in the background, one or two of them are disappointed, but ultimately we have a responsibility at any club you're at to go and try and win the next game of football. And the players' commitment level and their receptiveness to how I was working has been second to none. Second to none.
And just finally, I imagine it'll be a very similar answer, but what the next couple of days will look like for you, for the players, and I suppose depending on what happens with the club?
Yeah, the guys are scheduled for a day off tomorrow, and the players will be back in the following day. So I'm sure, as I said the other day, the communication's been really clear and excellent, and I'm guessing that I'll be getting some communication about how the next couple of days are going to look. But at this moment in time, my focus was the Liverpool game, so I'm not sure yet.
Simon, how's James Bree against the run-up? Looked like he was already hamstring or scoring or something.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of uncertainty about whether it was a contact injury or whether it was something muscular. So I'm still not sure actually what that is at the moment. So we'll have to wait for the fallout from that one.
What you make on Cameron a good goal, but he was back good with the long game.
Yeah, and again, we discussed as a team, maybe simplifying our actions in the first half, which meant from time to time we were going to ask, Cam, in moments in the game maybe to try and hold the ball up for us, and if we were going from goal kicks, in and around that area, and it was a hard task, but I thought he gave it everything, and in the end, in the second half, it's a fabulous goal. So I thought his contribution was excellent, and he'd had a bit of a cold, weren't feeling so well the last couple of days, so it was in my thinking as well to make sure that we looked after him in terms of freshness and energy And but I thought the goal was excellent.
I imagine it's been very hectic, but how much have you been able to enjoy the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I think really I've been that focused. I'm sure whatever the fallout of this is, as I touched on the other day, the last thing I wanted to do was make the last couple of days about me. You know, it's all about the players and what do they need next and what does the club need as well. So, yeah, as I said, it was, I guess really I didn't see it as something I'd be enjoying tonight. You know, we all put ourselves under the pressure and scrutiny as individuals in football to perform. And I just looked at it as I've got to go and perform and be part of that performance with the players. And that was all I was thinking about.
Okay, thanks so much, guys.
Cheers.